Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Little King story playthrough. So, the day has just begun with a little bit of Tchaikovsky's, the Dance of the Merlitons from the Nutcracker. And then we've gone straight into the song for the palace, which is Mozart's Ein kleine Nachtmusik, 4th movement rondo. I'm going to do my best to try and point out every single piece of classical music that this game has to offer. I'm not going to be able to do it entirely, because I think there's even some songs that we have absolutely no idea what they are. Which is, slightly frustrating, because I don't think that they ever released the soundtrack to Little King Story, which makes me very, very, very sad, because it's a wonderful, wonderful soundtrack, as I will repeat time and time again. But yeah, pretty much the only place that you are getting access to that soundtrack is YouTube. So there are ultimately no official names for any of the pieces, so it just depends on who you're talking to, where you're going, and all of that. Now, I believe that as we run around Alpoco, the music that you listen to is Beethoven's Symphony No. 9, 4th movement, Presto Allegro Molto Assai. But I could be wrong. I don't know. There's only certain ones where I can definitely say, yes, that is the case. For example, in that forest, which I believe we are actually going to visit today, because really it's one of the only places that we can go to try and get a bit more money. We are going to be hearing Beethoven's Symphony No. 6, Pastoral Symphony, 5th movement. So yes, that's in this location here. So yeah, you've got all sorts. So in terms of classical music, you've got some of the biggest pieces known to man. Obviously, starting with Ravel's Bolero, which is very important to me as someone who lives in Nottingham because of Torvill and Dean, who were ice skaters, and they, I believe, got the first straight sixes at the Winter Olympics to the song Bolero. And it's a stunning ice dance, and it is world famous, even though whenever I've brought up Torvill and Dean, everyone's like, who? But they are famous, don't worry. Then obviously Pomp and Circumstance is like ridiculous. But then also the fact that you've got songs from the Nutcracker by Tchaikovsky. You've got other songs by Edward Elgar. You've got songs from Johann Strauss. You've got songs by Johann Sebastian Bach. You've got Verdi. You've got Rossini. You've got Gershwin. You've got Holst. You've got Offenbach. You've got Mozart. Obviously Beethoven, who I think I've already mentioned. You've got Chopin. You've got Mendelssohn. It just seems to go and go and go. And not only that, there's a point very, very, very far into the game is that you'll be able to run around town and there will be citizens singing little songs. I will go into this in more detail when we actually get to that point. But there's even more in terms of just people humming a few notes. which is great. And those ads have actually got names. So, just so much love for this game. But we picked up a quest to deal with a guardian, and as we listen to this absolutely wonderful arrangement of Gioacchino Rossini's William Tell Overture, we get to take down the Guardian of the Cemetery, Cowbones. Now, don't do what I've just done here. This is something that is quite nice, is that the game allows you to run away if you are really struggling with a fight and want to heal up. You are going to have to take them down from full health when you go back into the arena. But it does just allow you to get out of the way if it looks like it's going to be an absolute disaster. Now, the way most of these Guardian fights go is that you are just sending in your soldiers to attack and just trying to keep an eye out on whenever those clouds of angry smoke puff out of an enemy's head. Because that generally means that your soldiers are going to get hurt. If you let your soldiers get hurt, then obviously after so many hits they will die. So you do want to make sure that when you select your soldiers, you choose the people with the most amount of health. So that means that they will last longer when you're fighting. But yeah, just this fight is ridiculous. And I think it was this was one of the moments in the game I was just like, I think I am actually in love. Because, I mean, the William Tell Overture is another of those ridiculously famous pieces of classical music. And this is just a brilliant arrangement of it, because it's got the Little King Story quirk and charm, but it still has the character of the original song, and it's just wonderful! It's so silly, but it's just so perfect. I'm just gonna probably just keep gushing as we play through this game, because I really do wish that more people had played Little King Story when it originally came out, because I mean, it was critically acclaimed at the time. I mean, it got 92% from official Nintendo magazine, 9 out of 10 from Edge, 8 out of 10 from Eurogamer. It won the Satellite Award for Outstanding Puzzle Strategy Game. And yeah, but unfortunately, as of November of 2009, it had only sold 26,000 units in Japan, 37,000 units in North America, and 67,000 units in Europe. Despite those modest initial sales, Rising Star's project manager Yen Hao stated that the title is still selling well to this day, which is something that doesn't quite happen often to video games, citing Rising Star's satisfaction with the sales. Gamera explained that they were planning to make a sequel to Little King Story, but they were just in the idea phase, and then, unfortunately, Sing declared bankruptcy. But that said, Marvelous Entertainment currently owns the full intellectual property rights to Little King Story, but both Kimura and Wada left Marvelous and joined Grasshopper Manufacture in 2010. So, yeah. Obviously, the result of Marvelous Entertainment's ownership of Little King Story was New Little King Story. But nothing's been done with it since, until obviously that announcement of the PC version. But now that we have defeated Cowbones, we have expanded our kingdom. And so we are going to go outside and explore our new area. And because obviously we are awesome and we have succeeded, everyone's having a little festival. Which, this is just one of the lovely bits of the game. Because it's just, you've got all characters that just sort of blather and they wear silly hats and it's great. Now, at present I'm not quite sure what song this is. I was just trying to check it out there, but oh! There we go. It's Verdi's drinking song from La Traviata. Of course, it'd be under festival, not victory. Doy. But this is another very famous song. Because I mean, just think of all the times where you hear people go da 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 da. That's because it's a drinking song, and so on and so forth. Now, unfortunately, you can't really do much on the day when the festival takes place. So you, once you've had a run outside and had a little look around, you're probably just going to end the festival, because you can't get anybody to come out and do anything, so what's the point? But either way, it seems that Hauser and Liam are up to something. So, what wonderful joys await us on this day? Well, seeing as we have expanded our kingdom, we now have the ability to make even more things. They damn well better be oh so happy right now. But, yeah, I feel that we may learn of Hauser's goal. What is it, Hauser? So, it is World Domination. So, which is, here is Georges Bizet's Radio song from Carmen. I hope I pronounced that right, but either way. So, yes, Hauser wants us to take over the world! I told you this game was ever so slightly deceptively dark.
And in each the nine, there's no use on us, depending on the amount of the she's. Oh, here people was a ghost. Miss Ona Polycarori, Princess Velto, then for a letter.
Well, that sounds like an easy enough job for me. So, I think that after we make sure that we save, it's time to start on our quest for world domination. And go and try and take on those Oni, because it's going to be, as Hauser says, glorious.